Oh man, Dave, we're live, dude. We're live. Dave, we get to do the starter sig questions for week 11.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm getting Gus Edwards out of all of my lineups, only like a couple, but getting Gus Edwards out and Kenyon Drake in.
Yeah, that's a big one, man. So week 11 is going to be interesting because we do have a lot of these injury reports that are like borderline. It's a lot of players that are somewhat getting healthy. Like we have the Keenan Allens, we have Kyler Murray, Gus Edwards was somebody that was borderline. So it's going to be very important for everybody to stay attached to that waiver wire. But now we're here. Welcome on in to Fantasy Intervention. Welcome in Fantasy Football Discussion. Welcome everybody that's watching over there on YouTube. We're here to answer your questions. So get your questions in the chat. Get us rolling, get us started, get us up and running for these. But before we end up hopping into those starter sig questions, we're going to go through a couple inactives and actives today. Like you just mentioned, Gus Edwards, he is out. That's going to be a big one. By the way, what's up, Joseph? I see you in the chat, man. Get your questions in. Let's go. Another one that I think is going to be a little bit more fantasy relevant than what we are aware of is all the inactives that are popping up for the Bills game. I mean, we're seeing like their entire defense completely decimated. And Gregory Rousseau, who's been a staple to that defense, is going to be out this week. I think he's top in the league in sacks, or he's up there in sacks right now, up there in pressure rates. Tre'Davious White still injured. Kaiir Elam is out. Tremaine Edmonds out. AJ Klein out. So we could see a lot more relevance from this Browns and Bills game than what we initially thought was actually going to happen. So if you have any Browns in there, there's Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'd feel safe playing. I'd feel safer playing Kareem Hunt to an extent, just because their middle linebackers are out, they're cover guys. So I'm a little bit more confident in the Browns game than what I was before, especially being out of the snow. Is there anybody else outside of the Josh Reynolds of the world that we need to make sure that we note are going to be out this week?
It's Mark Andrews is in, so that's a big in question. Let me look and see what else is out there on Twitter. There's a lot of people, and unfortunately, some of them are your late games, like your Kyler Murray's. It does sound like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams will play. And my question for you is, do you have the balls to play him?
No, I don't. I do not have the balls to play Keenan Allen. I have in one of my leagues. I am starting one of these tertiary options in these offenses ahead of Keenan Allen. So I do not have the balls to play him. Oh, man, we have these starter sig questions coming in. But first, we got a question from Facebook user. I see the lube, but where are the tissues there, Chase? This is actually itch spray for my dog, but sure, we can go with lube. I love it. Oh, man. Jose's in here. He's in the chat. And he says, pick one and flex one. We have Paris Campbell, MV Scantling, Devin Duvernay, Ezekiel Elliott, full PPR. I'm going to fade Ezekiel Elliott until I see what's happening over there with that situation. I do think that they will have him returning to become that starting running back. But I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit because Tony Pollard has been so efficient, and I'm just going to hope for the best. Meanwhile, Devin Duvernay is the only receiver over there. I know that Mark Andrews is back, but that might help out Duvernay see more single coverages because they don't have to play that safety high. They're going to use that safety to help cover Mark Andrews in bracketed coverages. So I expect Devin Duvernay to actually see a good amount of work, but Marquez Valdes-Scantling has a good matchup. Meanwhile, I love Paris Campbell this week. I'm starting Paris Campbell. So the decision point comes down to MVS or Duvernay, and I'm going to lean Duvernay just because I think that Kadarius Toney gets a massive part of this offense. I think that we could see Justin Watson catch a big one. I mean, MVS could have a big one too, but there's too many other targets in the Chiefs' offense that are equal to or better than MVS. Devin Duvernay only has Mark Andrews. Where are you sitting?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Paris Campbell. I think Paris Campbell is going to absolutely eat today. The Eagles, they're very tough on the outside, but they're soft in the middle. So give me some Paris Campbell action. I don't know if I can trust what's going to happen with Zeke. The reports are that Pollard's going to get the majority of the snaps. So give me MVS on this one. Everyone's going Toney. Everyone's excited about Toney, and they're all putting all their chips on that direction. But there's been times where MVS has had 7 or 8 targets, and he's been on the team all year. So give me him, even though I do like Duvernay this week.
All right. So yeah, I mean, honestly, like I think we're splitting hairs here, and you're really just playing with the lottery shot of either MVS or Duvernay. Both these guys could end up giving you 2 touchdowns and 100 yards. They could also both give you, goose eggs. So I think that MVS probably has a lesser chance to give you a goose egg than Duvernay does, but I do think that Duvernay has a higher percentage chance to end up giving you a touchdown with 100 yards. All right, Rose in the chat, what's going on, man? So Hollywood Brown, not too much reporting on the situation. Do we think he plays? It's a Monday game. I do think that Hollywood plays. I think he's going to be on a snap count. And honestly, I don't see him being that relevant into this situation, especially if Colt McCoy is at quarterback. So I really don't want to risk like having this pistol pop gun type arm with Duvernay and Colt. I mean, I'm sorry, with Colt McCoy and Marquise Brown. I'd rather just play it safe for this week and fade Marquise Brown unless you're in a desperate situation. Like I'd rather play Donovan Peoples-Jones over Marquise Brown. I'd rather play Duvernay. I'd rather play MVS. And I like Marquise Brown. I love Marquise Brown. I drafted him everywhere. I want to make sure he's healthy first because we've seen too many times this season where a player comes in that is still somewhat injured, especially at the wide receiver position. They come in, they get 10 snaps, and they end up exiting the game early because they want to make sure that they're up to full speed. How do you feel about that, Dave?
Yeah, anytime that you have a Monday night or a Sunday night game, I'm always gonna, go on the other side of things unless there's just a vast difference in the players. If you have a situation like this and you have Rondale Moore, then you can risk it a little bit and then you can play Moore or Brown next week. But if you're thinking of like sitting all your players at 1:00 and then you're putting all your chips on Marquise Brown and he doesn't play, then you're screwed tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, we do have in the chat, somebody asks, he's done this thing where it shows his face. Now it doesn't show on our end. It's most likely because you're in the fantasy football discussion group right now, and you haven't given permissions to have the face seen through StreamYard. If you actually head over to facebook.com/FFD, but that's spelled EFFEFFDEE, and you go to the group and you comment in the group, your face will show up. So go check out, and you comment on the page itself. If you comment on the page, your face will show up. So that's most likely why it's not showing up. But yeah, I hear that. I agree with that 100%. We got a question right here. Oh, before I actually answer this question, I do want to go ahead and mention some of these injuries that you put in the private chat. Devonta Parker is active this week. I am probably not going to be playing any Devonta Parker up against the Jets. AJ Terrell is out, so that bodes a case to be able to play some of these guys up against the Falcons once again because the Falcons have been shelled themselves without AJ Terrell in the secondary. And then Eno is inactive, Eno Benjamin. So you can feel safe with Dameon Pierce still up against Washington, which honestly, I think that's going to be the only thing that Houston's going to be able to do is run the ball. So let's go ahead and hop on to this next question. We have Njoku or Kmet? Njoku or Kmet? Njoku, is he actually playing? Has he been put on the active report? Because I think he was likely, correct?
Yeah, he was questionable. So let me see if I get anything on Njoku.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm still in most cases going to play active.
Yep.
Ooh. So, all right, here's the deal. You've seen Cole Kmet go hot, right? The past couple weeks. He's been the tight end 1 on the season, I believe, over the past 4 weeks, or at least since week 7 or week 6. Him and Justin Fields have found that connection, right? They're just melding together. And I love that for them. But Kmet could also give you a whopping 0. Meanwhile, Njoku, if he's healthy, we might see him play about 60 to 80% of the snaps. He'll see a part in this offense. And the Bills secondary is really good on the outside. However, Kaiir Elam is out. We still have Tre'Davious White out, who's been out the whole year. So maybe the Browns do see a little bit extra advantage on the outside with some of these injuries. But I still like Njoku, I believe, over Kmet. It's slight, and honestly, it feels gross. I do think that Kmet has the higher upside, but I'd rather go with a guy that I know is getting targets when he does play.
Yeah, I'm going with Kmet. I'm just seeing a lot of the Falcons are hurt. Kmet's been playing a lot better. Njoku's hurt, and so I get it. There's a lot of Bills that are sick. There's some flu or something going around.
Oops.
I'm sticking with Kmet.
All right. Sorry about that. I got a dog barking like crazy. I'm going to let you read off this question.
Sounds good. I got choose two: Mooney, Garrett Wilson, Rondale Moore. Fields is my QB, if that makes a difference. Also, what's up, Axel? So for me, I'm gonna go with Mooney and Rondale Moore. I like Rondale Moore. I'm not afraid of Marquise Brown, and even if Marquise Brown plays, I do think Rondale Moore is going to be in there. And even with Colt McCoy at quarterback last week, he was fine, and he should be able to smash. And then Mooney, there's no AJ Terrell, which is great for Mooney.
Yeah, that is great for Mooney. Garrett Wilson did smash up against the Patriots. I don't know if you said that or not the last time they played, but I just don't trust it. I'm definitely going to go Mooney and Rondale Moore. I think that the Mooney has a higher floor and a higher ceiling than Garrett Wilson does, and Rondale Moore for me is an auto play every week. All right, Corey, what's going on, man? We have JT, Joe Mixon, Dameon Pierce, AJ Brown, Gabe Davis, Mike Williams. All right, we got to pick two of each with a flex. So JT for me, I think is going to have a massive week. I love Jonathan Taylor. He's one of my flag points on the week. And I don't see how you don't play Joe Mixon up against the Steelers with that secondary. Dameon Pierce they're going to give Dameon Pierce a ton of work, and I get that, right? But like Washington has improved on defense significantly over the past 2 to 3 weeks. Their depth guys are actually stepping up to play. They have a bunch of undrafted free agents among the defensive line that have stepped up to play. I think his name is Ridgeway or something on those lines, who stepped up as well. Daniel Wise has stepped up. Two Hills playing lights out. He's getting in the backfield, and he's forcing a lot of these losses, and a lot of these plays are blown up by him coming off the edge. I don't love Dameon Pierce this week, although I do see the volume. So I'm going to go JT, Joe Mixon on that. AJ Brown for me, and then probably Mike Williams are my two locks at the wide receiver. And then I'll likely flex Gabe Davis.
So you get to pick two running backs, two receivers, and a flex.
Yeah.
Wow. And these are all fantastic. So
yeah,
I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick with AJ Brown, JT, Joe Mixon. Gabe Davis is like that. That's definitely your boom or bust play. And Mike Williams could be the same thing because Mike Williams come back off injury and he's been boom or bust in his past as well. So give me JT and Joe Mixon for the running backs. Give me AJ Brown and give me Gabe Davis for the receivers. And then I'll take Dameon Pierce as the flex just because he's a safe volume play. He's probably going to get you 10 to 12 points. I'm not expecting a whole lot, but 20 to 25 touches.
All right, let's go ahead and let's hop over to here we are. Who do I replace Hollywood Brown with, Mooney or Garrett Wilson? I think we kind of just answered that in the last one. I think we both took Mooney over Garrett Wilson this week. Yep. I just think there's a higher upside and a higher floor.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and Hollywood Brown's projected points on ESPN just went down by 2 points. Yeah, I just don't think he's going to be very involved in offense. They probably had a pre-week projection for him and just plugged that in, so it probably dropped once they found out that his snaps are going to be limited. All right, what did you put over here in the group chat? Oh yeah, by the way, DJ Chark is active. He's been activated from IR. They don't have anybody over there for the Lions. They have Khalif Raymond, behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. I kind of like DJ Chark as a sneaky play this week if I'm in a deeper league. Like if I'm in a start 10 where you have like 3 flex positions, I'm interested in rolling out some DJ Chark this week. Are you at all?
Yeah, I mean, Josh Reynolds is out. They're looking for that type of player, and that's why they brought DJ Chark in. So you could see that the Giants have let up some big plays. They've been able to contain the big plays, but they will, if it's 3rd and 15, they're going to give you 10 yards. And so DJ Chark could eat some of those. It'd be Amon-Ra St. Brown and him as getting the main targets there with Hawkinson out.
All right.
Out of town.
Let's go ahead and hop over to this one. Flex 1, Keenan Allen, Greg Dulcich. A little worried with Keenan Allen. All right, this is a good one. Would you rather roll out Greg Dulcich or Keenan Allen this week? Because this one's a great question. I mean, Keenan Allen plays on Sunday night. Dulcich is already going to be long gone by then. Do you take the chance and play Keenan Allen, or are you going to roll out Dulcich?
This is a really good question, and I plead the fifth. PPR, I don't know if it even matters. Dulcich gets the Raiders, and so I will go in that direction. They give up the third most points to tight ends, and unlike some of the other tight ends, he's got the athleticism to get yards after the catch and have some big plays. So I don't feel great about it, but with Judy out, I'll go Dulcich and wait a week on Keenan Allen. And I can be wrong. That's fine. But we've seen Keenan Allen play 10 snaps, and we all go like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's it's bad.
He's the DeAndre Swift of the wide receiver position right now.
He really is. It's brutal. Last week up against the Titans, Dulcich only had, one catch for 11 yards. And that was embarrassing because he was supposed to have a big blow up week after having 4 for 87 the week before that. I think he put up 11.1 fantasy points the week before that, if I remember correctly. So he's somebody that we're hoping is going to break out and become a staple, become that next like George Kittle, who's a later round draft pick, steps into a massive role. I think that could happen this week up against the Raiders. I'll go ahead and play Dulcich, be safe, get the guaranteed points and roll out, unless I'm projected to lose like by 20. If it's going to be a blowout, or maybe it's a super flex league and I don't have a second quarterback to play and I just need a shot, I'll take Keenan Allen. But outside of that, 9 times out of 10, I'm taking Greg Dulcich. All right. Keep those questions coming, by the way. Big shout out to Fantasy Football Discussion. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We will get them answered. We're already running dry on these questions, probably because I didn't actually schedule a lot of these, the show too far ahead of time. But Joseph comes in and says, not a big fan, Deonta Foreman fan. I have Zeke or Mitchell. What's the best play? I'm still rolling out Deonta Foreman. I mean, like you can't, the Carolina Panthers aren't going to be able to pass. 9 times out of 10, they're going to end up running Deonta Foreman in this game. I like Deonta Foreman significantly ahead of Zeke and a little bit ahead of Mitchell. I think that Mitchell could be wildly efficient because he's shown his efficiency in the past. But when you have a guy that's sharing a backfield with CMC, I mean, I don't want any piece of that. And by the way, Deebo Samuel had his most carries of this, or since week 3, I believe, this past week. So they're working Deebo Samuel back into the offense after being injured in week 8 or week 7, maybe. So where are you sitting on this one?
Yeah, Foreman, Mitchell, Zeke in that order.
Okay. What's up, Rudy? How you doing, man? Get your questions in the chat, bro. Let's see those starter sit questions this week. We have Facebook user comes in. Jamal Williams or Miles Sanders? This one right here. This is interesting for me. Jamal Williams has a advantageous matchup, but like when you look at it on paper, it's bad because the Giants are like the 4th best team, at least on DraftKings, up against the running back, but their yards per carry are through the roof. They're allowing like 4 or 5 yards per carry. It's just the teams they face haven't been good, or they haven't had a good running back, I should say. In fact, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pull this up. Let's see. They have faced so far on the season. They saw the Titans and Panthers to kick it off, but then they had the Cowboys, the Bears, the Packers, the Ravens, the Jaguars, the Seahawks, the Texans. So overall, like the teams have been efficient, but they haven't been establishing the run since week 2. So this is a situation, or I should say, since week 3 up against the Cowboys. The most rushing attempts we've seen is 25. They're normally hovering around 15 to 17. I think that you're going to see a lot more rushing attempts in this one for the Detroit Lions, who want to pound the rock and want to, get it up the middle. Jamal Williams should be good, but Miles Sanders has a good matchup, man. Like we could see a situation where the Eagles pull ahead up against the Colts on this one. We could also see him involved in the passing game for the first time this season, maybe. So for me, I'd probably go with Miles Sanders in hopes of the upside, but I'm not married to that. What about you?
Yeah, and you went through that list. And they did play some pretty good backs. You had Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, and Ken Walker was bottled up until the end, and he had one big run, and he scored the touchdown. With this matchup, the Colts are usually pretty stout up the middle. They don't have Shaquille Leonard. But I think that's just a better offense. So I'd rather be attached to the better offense, and go Sanders because we don't know what's going to happen with Jamal Williams and Swift, and they could split duties at the goal line.
Kenneth Walker still gave you double-digit points, by the way. And then every other running back they faced that's been any good this season, even Kenyon Drake put up over 100 yards on him. The only ones that didn't were Aaron Jones, Khalil Herbert, Ezekiel Elliott, but Tony Pollard put up over 100. Every other running back has put up over 100 on him. Oh, Derrick Henry put up 82. But, yeah, it's just the yards per carry, the efficiency, I should say. Like, it's not teams that care about establishing the run as much as they do trying to compete with the Giants, who've been ahead in most games. All right. We have, yes, Axel, I can see you now. We have Antonio Gibson, Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, or Curtis Samuel. I have to start one full point PPR. Oof. Deontay Johnson's been such a disappointment, similar to Najee Harris. Najee Harris finally had a good game last week, but it took him like 30 carries to get there, something absurd. Was it 22 carries?
Yeah, it was. It's so tough. Pulling up the running back rankings now. I have Antonio Gibson 2 spots ahead of Najee Harris. I like the Houston matchup, and with J.D. McKissic out, they're finally getting Antonio Gibson some work.
Yep.
So I think Robinson could be I have him at 25. The Texans are just so bad, and like the Giants, they were like, we're just gonna run the ball, and so they ran the ball like 40, 45 times. And against them last week, and Washington's going to do the same thing. If they ran all over Philly, they're going to run all over the Houston Texans.
Gibson will be up over 80 yards, at least rushing, and he'll see some work in the passing game. But the thing is the Houston Texans, they're decent up against pass-catching backs, but it's because they're always playing from behind. So teams don't need to utilize the pass-catching backs, in the 2-minute drills or anything like that. So I'm definitely going with Antonio Gibson. I think that his ceiling is somewhat capped because I don't think that they're going to utilize him in the passing game as much as what we would hope, with Washington being ahead most likely. But he at least offers you a really good floor. And hey, who knows if Washington's going down because Taylor Heinicke goes out and throws a couple early game interceptions like we've seen him do. We've seen him throw these random interceptions throughout the game that don't need to happen. If he ends up doing that early on in the game, we could see a game where Washington is playing from behind, and now Antonio Gibson is efficient in the running game and is getting the targets. So I do like Antonio Gibson. It's just tough to sit there and want to play him.
I got a gross QB question for you. So
yeah, what do you got?
Jared Goff, New York Giants. It's going to be about 20 to 30 mile an hour winds, about 29 degrees, 20 degree, wind chill. You got Taylor Heinicke against Houston and Matthew Stafford against New Orleans.
Give that to me one more time.
Matthew Stafford versus New Orleans, Jared Goff versus the Giants, and Taylor Heinicke versus Houston.
Oh, God, that is gross, dude. That's bad. I think that you have to take Stafford. Heinicke offers the rushing upside. I didn't get that, but they're not going to need to pass. They're probably, Heinicke will see less than 20 attempts this game, right? We have to think that he would see less than 20 attempts unless somehow Houston goes up because Heinicke throws a couple of in-game early interceptions. Of course, they're in-game. He throws a couple early game interceptions. That's the only chance that Heinicke sees any kind of volume or enough volume to make him relevant. They're not designing runs for him. So you don't get that rushing upside that you see from Daniel Jones, who gets 3.5 design runs per game and could easily see 8 to 10 carries in any given week. That's not going to be Heinicke. Heinicke will get you 20 yards rushing on the ground, and that's his floor. Meanwhile, you have Jared Goff, who is in a really bad situation up against a team that they're going to want to run the ball against in most cases up until late game. But like you brought up earlier in the show, the Giants do a great job of preventing deep passes. So I think the only game the only quarterback that actually makes sense for me is Matthew Stafford, who now is without Cooper Kupp, but will be playing from behind, I feel like, and should see opportunities in the 2-minute offense, the hurry up offense, and in the fourth quarter to at least get you touchdowns on the board, right? I don't even know if either one of the other two quarterbacks are going to throw a touchdown. Maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown gets one, or maybe DJ Chark gets one on a broken play. But that's one. You're not going to see more than one from Jared Goff. Heinicke might not throw one at all. I'm going to go with Matt Stafford. I think he comes out of this game with 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think that's a better outcome than what the other two are.
And I'll throw this out there. So I just was on another show, and we're doing a $10 slip for underdog, and we're doing an all interception slip, and they're going to give the money away to some people in the chat. So we just picked quarterbacks to throw interceptions. So anytime a quarterback throws an interception, we can all celebrate. This one has Goff, Brissett, Carr, and Cousins. Some of them did not have an option to throw because some of them were easy targets like Zach Wilson, but they did not have an option for him to play on underdog.
So what 3 did you have?
We have Brissett, Goff, Carr, and Cousins for our 4-leg parlay of interceptions.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fun. All right, let's go ahead. We got one more question from Joseph. He has no choice but to start Devonta Smith today. Talk me out of dropping him for Gallup or Peoples-Jones. I think that Smith is a good play this week.
Yeah, he's great against zone coverage, and Indianapolis plays zone coverage almost exclusively. So, yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, I think it's a good play this week. I think that he should see plenty of targets. I think that Jonathan Taylor could have opportunities for broken plays because of the way that they stack the box and because they brought in Ndamukong Suh, who, by the way, fun fact, Ndamukong Suh's missed 19% of his tackles against the run in 2021. We talk about players coming in and going into new systems. Defensive tackle, if you make one wrong move, if you get shoved to the wrong spot because you thought you were supposed to rush a different gap, that's a huge, huge advantage for a player like Jonathan Taylor, who can break a tackle from a safety or linebacker and get you a big one. So this game could actually turn into being a shootout. And so I actually want to play as much Devonta Smith as possibly can. Especially for like DFS type lineups, because I think that he's a guy that is going to have a very good floor, but also he could end up finishing as wide receiver 1 on the week. Like, I don't think it's going to happen, but it is in his realm of possibilities. So Joseph, feel good about rolling out Devonta Smith. He's a good play this week, and I'd much rather play him over Gallup or Donovan Peoples-Jones. All right. This right here is going to be, dude, that's so crazy. My clock says it's stuck on 11:32. That's bizarre. This is going to be like the shortest show we had, and it's probably my fault because I did not post it until way too late. But Dave, you want to let everybody know where to find you real quick, man?
Yeah, at Dynasty Dorks. You can find my work at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. I have a series out on 2023 free agents for Dynasty, just who's going to be directly and indirectly affected doing each position. And I just put out my Dynasty rankings for each position as well.
All right. Yeah, you guys can go check out all of my content over there at Trophy Smack, of course. You guys can actually get cool-ass, badass trophies and championship belts, as you can see over my left shoulder. Y'all's right, most likely. Yeah, if you guys use promo code CIRCLE, once again, that's promo code CIRCLE, you'll actually get a free championship ring along with the purchase of a trophy or belt. Go check it out over there at trophysmack.com. And yeah, good luck this week. Oops, sorry. Good luck this week. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We're out.